Hello, welcome to Cover2TV. I'm Chris Pajak. This is Tom Jennings. There's no Ste Hoare because he's not here, as you can probably tell. So we're going to discuss a little bit about week 2, discuss some of the stories coming out from week 2 and moving on into week 3. Then we're going to look ahead. Steve sent in via WhatsApp his best bet, so we're still going to discuss all that as well. So it promises to be a great show. We're going to start with, let's start with the New England Patriots, the Jaguars. Great game of football.
If you're a Jags fan or you hate the Patriots, excellent game of football.
Which is everybody apart from New England fans.
Yeah.
Everybody apart from the Glory Hunters.
We'd never won a Super Bowl before I started supporting them. So how can I be a Glory Hunter?
You hunt glory.
Am I a fortune teller?
I do not know this. Are you a fortune teller?
No, because I said Patriots would win this game.
Go on, mate, what happened? I mean, Jacksonville were pretty good, man.
Yeah, the Jacksonville defence was excellent. What they see, this brings up to one of our stories of the week, which is the Josh Gordon trade. Now, the reason why New England have traded for him is because what the Jags did to them on defence, which was they creatively double-teamed Gronk, and they put Jalen Ramsey on James White. It was very reminiscent to, I don't know if you ever watched the Bill Belichick of Football Life? Which, yeah. Well, that was filmed after the 2009 season when we got blown out in the playoffs by the Baltimore Ravens. And what you saw Brady and Belichick talking about is, if we can't throw deep to Ross and we couldn't check it down to Wes Welker, there was nothing else in the offence. This is what's happened again to the Patriots. If you can't throw deep to Gronkowski and we can't check it down to James White, there's nothing else teams need to be worried about. Chris Hogan, Dorset, these players, they're just role players. It's why they went out and they looked so exposed when they had Brandon Cooks last season, because he was close to being a number 1 wide receiver that could draw coverage, which right now, without Edelman winning those quick out routes, without Amendola as well, it's so depleted, that wide receiving core, that they've had to go look at it again and go, we need something on the outside that teams need to be worried about, which is why they took the flyer and took Josh Gordon for the 5th round, with exchange for a 7th round pick. So it's high chance they just smoke some weed and get bombed out the league, but they need to do something to their wide receiver core if they want to beat the Jags.
I get all that and I agree with all that, but the fact of the matter is they scored on you as well.
Oh yeah, the defence is hot garbage. This is, again, this is very reminiscent of the 2009 to 2013 defence where, you know, it was bend but don't break, but it's lost all the blue chip talents. So Chandler Jones, we traded him away, Jamie Collins got traded away, there's someone else who I can't think of that was a good defensive player that we traded away, and then ultimately we just lost all this blue chip talent that we had for that like couple of years there. It would come up with the problems the last year's Super Bowl. The Patriots defense though got better throughout the season. I mean, Philly just basically could run or throw all over it, and this the same again. It's just not a very good defense, and they're trying to do it by hook or by crook. By the end of the season, we'll probably have like the 20th best defense, and it'll look fine, but it's going to get exposed in the playoffs again, because when Blake Bortles looks like Aaron Rodgers, you know you're doing something.
I think you're giving not enough credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars, to be honest with you. And I know all the points that you've made are stand true. I'm not disagreeing with any of them at all, but Bortles looked good. The game plan was good. You know, it's not Jacksonville's fault that they're left in that left in that situation. You know, that's only Belichick's fault.
Oh yeah,
you know, they're the choices that he's made. I love the fact that like Bortles was throwing on first down and making sure that their offensive coordinator wasn't letting Bortles have to throw really tough 3rd down, and like, you know, they were looking after the down and distance, weren't they? It's not getting Bortles to throw on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 or anything like that. He was getting them to throw where and the downs that didn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know, they did this without Leonard Fournette as well. I thought it was and I was really impressed with Bortles, really impressed. Like, I actually thought he might be a quarterback for the first time.
But see, the thing with Bortles is, people forget this, Bortles has put stretches like this together. He puts 2 or 3, 4 games where he looks like a quarterback does. After his 2nd year, people were very high on Bortles because his numbers look good, you know, a lot of garbage time yards, which would make him look good. And then it wasn't until he was like, alright, the Jags going to kick on this year, when you realise that Blake Bortles was the one hamstring in the team. Cole, I think his name is, was a superstar. I mean, that catch he made where he just plucked it out the air, that was superb. So I'm not trying to get away from the Jaguars, it's just, it's hard enough for me to look at it from a Patriots point of view. And obviously the Jaguars, though, their defence was brilliant. I mean, when it looked like the game was going back to the Patriots, once they've had the fumble and they've had the interception, to just go, no, well, Cordell Patterson fell over and that kind of killed us. But then for Dante Fowler to step up and just sack fumble Brady and recover it was just their defence saying, no, it doesn't matter.
We're in control.
We are in control of this game. You just fell behind us, the best defence in the league. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. You have not got enough pieces to beat us.
I agree with that, and listen, I must admit, you know, let's talk about the Josh Gordon trade now, and then we'll move on to maybe the Vikings and the Packers and the storyline that's come out of that game. For me, another astute trade by Bill Belichick. I think you're not losing anything by going for such a talented wide receiver in Josh Gordon. I know he's had his issues, of course he's had his issues, but what did he lose in this?
They don't, to be honest with you. The Patriots trade 5 for 7 picks all the time. They just throw. Patriots have a much more scattergun approach than what people realise. We just take people's cast-offs and then go kick the ties, and if they're not good enough, we'll get rid of them. Players like Chad Ochocinco, players like just even looking Eric Decker, Matthews, all players people thought might have a big role, didn't even make it out to training camp. So taking Josh Gordon for all his talent, you're hoping that he can go into the Patriots locker room, go into a winning team mentality, that might bring out the best of him, that he might, you know, put his issues, get him out of his problem area and get him away from certain people in his life. That's the hope. If it doesn't, release him. He's probably not going to play football again. If Patriots release him, you haven't really lost anything. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, you look at it and what have they given? What have they given up? A 5th rounder? What are the chances of getting a starter in the 5th round anyway? You know, you're rolling the dice whether it's a 5th round pick or a 7th round pick, aren't you?
Yeah.
The likelihood of picking someone who's going to go straight in, nah, it's not happening.
No, you just get probably a rotational offensive line or defensive lineman. You're not really worried about that. You're going to pick the people on your board that you're picking a 5th and 7th round. They're pretty much the same people. It's just who you think you need more at that point. So I don't think they're really that bothered again. If Josh Gordon does anything, but I think from the Browns' perspective, they had to get rid of him. I'm sorry. Yeah. They gave him way too many chances, and at some point you've got to draw the line. It's a little bit, I'm hoping it's a bit Chris Carter at the Eagles, whereas they'd had enough of him. He drew lines too many times, they just drew a line in the sand and said, no, you've got to go. And then when he went to the Vikings, new environment, and that feeling of them giving up on him, speaking of reinvigorated his career and focus.
You've got to look at it and think, what's Dorsey doing over there at the Browns, you know what I mean? How is he going to bring this franchise forward? You know, I think Hugh Jackson probably did want to give him another chance and probably would, but at some point you've got to go, no, we've got to make a stand for the other 52 men on the roster. You know, if we let him get away with it just because he's a talented guy, well, these are going to start taking the piss, and these are going to start taking the piss, and these are going to start taking the piss, and you're like, draw the line. You've given him how many opportunities. If he goes and does it there, you know what, there'll be Browns fans sitting there thinking, we should have given him another chance. But listen, right, he was never going to do it for you, because he gave you so many chances. As Jenno says, it's that clean break and hitting rock bottom from being traded or something like that, or released. You know, there was talk of him just being thrown on the waiver wire. It's that if he does go on and improve and does go on and become sober, that's the point. Yeah. He'd never do it at the Browns, because he's already shown he will never do it at the Browns.
Yeah, that's basically it. He's always... It's interesting when Josh Gordon come back in the pre-season. There was a video of Hugh Jackson like, oh yeah, Josh Gordon's back there, and Dorsey and Taltaylor were like, well, is he in football shape? Can he still play? But Hugh Jackson was like a cheerleader, and it's like, no, you're not looking at this, you're just looking at this because you hope this player's great. You're living in hope, whereas getting rid of him is like, no, this is what we've got and this is what we've got to produce. And it's more, can't think what the word I'm looking for is, but it's not hope anymore. You're using the actual players you have, because their defense looks good. Miles Jack looks like a stud. So, sorry, Miles Garrett. Yeah, Miles. I'm still haunted by Miles Jack. Miles Garrett looks amazing. Like, he bends like that low off the floor. It's incredible. So, start using the pieces you have and stop hoping for a brighter future. Actually, start building one.
That's it. And again, maybe we'll come on to the Todd Haley stuff in a little bit, because one of the talking points for this week is Antonio Brown. Okay, well, we'll move it on then. The Vikings drew with the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. Right, I'll go first on this one. There's a few things in this game that pissed me off. Number one, Carlson, right? Absolute meth. You know what I mean? You have one job. It is to kick the ball in a straight line over a distance into an area that is defined by some yellow posts. It's all you're employed to do. Be better at life. Be better at your life. Sort yourself out. I mean, missing 3 field goals, come on. You know what I mean? Missing 2 of them in overtime, just come on. Are you having a laugh? Like, but there's so many other talking points in this game. It felt like, I'm not bothered about the tie. I actually probably think it was a deserved tie. Maybe Steve would disagree with me. Maybe Steve would think the Packers would win, and maybe other Vikings fans would think the Vikings should have won. But if you can't put your field goals away, you don't deserve to win, in my eyes. But there are concerns for me. The fact that Green Bay were able to run on us was a major concern for me, especially first half. I'm looking at it thinking, these shouldn't be able to run on us, yet they were moving the ball. Rodgers wasn't moving around the pocket, and yet we were still struggling a little bit. So I don't know what that's about. I hope that was a one-off more than anything else. Didn't look like it was particularly well schemed. It was just normal running, you know, zonal attacks or whichever one it was. You were thinking to yourself, there's nothing special here. We should be able to stop this, and yet we weren't able to.
Yeah, I think it was a game, I mean, not to use the cliche game, very much 2 half, but it was because the first half, I think the Packers were moving the ball quite well. But I think that stopped in the second half. I don't think they moved it anywhere near as well. Because I think what happened was the Vikings were very concerned about Rodgers and passing it. And they're like, well, let's just see what he can do. And then they made those half-time adjustments to take away the run game, because it seemed that the Packers want to go quite run-heavy. And then the second half, I felt the Vikings played much better and actually dominated. With the kicker, I have a serious issue with people moaning about kickers losing games. Do you want like a last minute field goal from 50 yards and they miss, and like, oh, you got one job, and it's like, they've had all game to win this game. They shouldn't be relied on the kicker. You'd have 4 downs. If you don't touch your kicker, throw it again. Try and get that down, that's your choice. However, with Carlson missing 3, that's a killer. There's no defending him. Well,
special teams killed us all game long, to be honest, didn't it? You know, Jenno Allison blocks the punt that gives him the first touchdown of the game. And you're looking at it and thinking, our yardage is better than yours, we're passing it better. We are actually, I don't think we ran the ball particularly well against Green Bay, but...
Well, I think Cook ran the ball very well, even though you weren't running the ball well, because there was a lot of plays there that should have been tackled for loss, and he was juking, he was pushing through, so... I like the look of Cook, but he just felt a bit sorry. I think the Vikings offensive line needs something.
It needs a freaking centre, to be honest, to organise it all as well, doesn't it? But a couple of stories coming out from the game then, Jenno. This hitting the quarterback rule, man.
Right, well, I want to make this point because I watched this game. The same thing happened to Aaron Rodgers in the first half, and he got it, and they called it the exact same way, and it was a ridiculous call then, just like it was a ridiculous call at the end of the game with Kirk Cousins.
Agreed, 100%.
It's not bias, and people need to start saying, if it does mean the narrative is, oh well, that one changed the game, and well, Rodgers scored points after. Points matter regardless of when the game happened. So the same thing happened early in the game. It was called the exact same way, and also this the Aaron Rodgers rule. So you basically got screwed on by the Aaron Rodgers rule.
Yeah, I must admit, like, look, both sides had it.
Yeah.
Now, I think the one at the end of the game is obviously more important, but my problem isn't with how they called it. It's how did the referee... Hang on, my problem is with how they called it, I suppose. My problem with it is you just can't... It's just a shit rule.
It's just
basically I can't word it any better.
Like, that ball was almost in Kirk Cousins' hand as he got tackled. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that. He didn't pile drive him. He didn't make sure he landed all his weight on him. In my opinion, that was a perfectly legitimate football play. Yeah. There was no intent. It was just I'm sacking the quarterback, making sure that ball gets underthrown. Excellent. The only thing I will say is Von Miller was on the Will Bridson podcast, I think it's called Pick 6, and he talked about it and he said, go for the ball when you do that. If Clay Matthews hits him with his hand in the air as well, and looks like he's going for the ball, that probably doesn't get called. And I thought, that's an interesting point. That might be a new narrative we see, is when people go to sack the quarterback, they make sure they attack the ball at the same time, so it's less likely to be called for pile driving. But
But neither of them were.
Yeah,
Neither
they need
of
to
them
fix
were.
this stupid rule, because I get player safety, I get they don't want big names like Aaron Rodgers going up league, but he even landed with his hand out like that. Like, that's, as he did the best he could to protect Kirk Cousins while still sacking him. It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It makes absolutely no sense to me, and it's look, it's really sort of, it's just a shit rule. And the one other thing that's completely shit in England at the moment is fucking red zone. Like, are you watching games on red zone? No.
Yes.
Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened?
I actually do, because of the way I'm watching it, it's through red zone, so it went off and I went, so I just put the Patriots game on.
Yeah. So, gets into, I don't remember what point it actually started messing up, but
it was about overtime.
It was certainly about, certainly it was an important part of the game. It was definitely overtime or just before overtime for me. And I'm scrambling around, and the feed went to this mad camera, and it was just jiggling around like that, and I was like, what the friggin' hell's going on here? And then basically there was a cameraman walking around the Jets game who was just pointing at the floor, and he lifted up, and we were in a Jets game, and I was like, what the fuck's going on with the Vikings game there? You know what I mean? And then I can't get onto red zone. Then my Game Pass completely went down, and I couldn't get onto Game Pass. And now I am wireless. I don't have like the telly where you can put Sky on and do red zone or anything like that, so I've got no way of doing this. Plus it's overtime, so I'm not like scrambling around for a laptop and all this type of stuff. Oh my days, it was just so ridiculous. Let me know if you had those problems as well, because I tweeted them. Once again, they didn't tweet me back. I had the problems last year. Pay good money for this. It's over £100 for a season, and yet the first game of the season it's blacked out because it's on Sky. And the second game of the season, I don't get to see the end of the game.
They black out if it's on Sky?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm ridiculous, mate.
Yeah.
So, and not only is it blacked out, I wouldn't have a problem, because I very rarely watch games live anyway because of the kids. 6 o'clock at night, that's like getting them ready for bed, all that type of stuff. I can go on and start watching like 8 o'clock, half 8 when the kids go down, and I'm pretty much caught up. It gives me, it lets me fast forward the adverts basically, which is a great way to watch American football.
Yeah, I love watching the condensed 40-minute games like that. I prefer them.
Do you? I hate them.
Why?
I love the conversation from the commentators. And I never feel like, they changed it last year. They never used to show you flags on the 40 minutes. And you'd be watching it and be like, why are we here? Why are they? Why is it still first and second and 10? And you know, it just feels like I missed stuff.
Yeah, I can see your point, but see, the thing is, when I'm watching the 40-minute game, I already know what the score is. I'm looking at how X is playing and Y is playing. So like, I watched the 40 minutes of the Chiefs Steelers, because I was just watching Mahomes. That was all I was really focused on. So I think it depends
what you're looking for.
What you're looking for, yeah.
I loved it. And here's the other thing, I hate red zone. I hate it with a passion. No, I know Ste really likes it, and he's got a different viewpoint to me, and I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong, it's just your opinion, isn't it? But for me,
betting helps.
Betting does it, and red zone will make betting better. I just like watching the game, the full game. I like the conversation. I've been brought up on watching the full game.
I think it's that narrative. It's you get involved in the narrative, like that. The narrative of the Vikings game. This was Kirk Cousins, which is something I've been saying now since when they trade you got and signed him. Kirk Cousins is amazing. Watch what you've got now. And that was the narrative. At the end of the game, he was throwing dimes, that past the feeling, that past the and you just throw.
The 2 points to Diggs. I mean, the way that the route was run by Diggs, everything.
The first touchdown for Diggs, where he just throws it. I thought that bounced off the floor and he lifted it up, and then seeing how low Diggs caught it, and I was like, oh, that was like Brady-esque, and I was like, Kirk Cousins is brilliant, and that's the narrative you were getting. It was Kirk Cousins was going to go against Aaron Rodgers and beat him and show that he's going to establish himself as one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. And then we get that taken away, and you just don't get that off red zone. You just go see touchdown, field goal, touchdown.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And yeah, I must admit, I do watch the games in 40 because life dictates that you can't sit down and watch a 3-hour broadcast every night of the week with you when you've got a family and stuff, but it does do me head in. One other thing we'll talk about then, let's move on to some stories moving forwards. Carson Wentz is going to be back in the starting lineup for the Eagles. Don't really know what's going to happen with Foles now. He's not played particularly well. Would it surprise you if he came back and played at that sort of MVP level again?
Yeah, from any more than like 2 games. Like the MVP level, he only played like that in the NFC Championship game, the Super Bowl. He was actually dreadful in the...
sorry, talking about Wentz.
Oh, Wentz.
If Wentz comes back from his injury, would it surprise you if he comes back at an MVP level?
That makes me more sense to talk about Wentz. No, not really, but I don't think that's what's going to happen, because I think it's going to take him a little bit of time. You're going to have to test his injury. You're going to have to almost like dip your toe in the water first. I don't think you just go out there throwing it all over the place. I think they need to run heavy, just protect him for a while, get him used to throwing again, get him used to actually playing in the game, and then he'll get back to his MVP level later this season, where he will be MVP level, but he'll be way out of the MVP running. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I think, you know, it's an ACL and a something else, CL, whichever one it is. Big injuries. MCL. He's only been, which one?
MCL maybe.
Something like that. It's really irrelevant, but we are talking about his injury, so it is probably quite relevant. Apologies. My big thing is he's only been cleared for practice this week, so it's been a long time since he's like taken a hit, for example, or done anything like that. And they're not going to be hitting him anyway. They don't hit the quarterbacks anyway, so he is going to just have to walk in there, and people are going to be gunning for him. And that's the thing is it wouldn't surprise me if he got back to MVP level this season. If he came in and played brilliantly in the first game, it really would surprise me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's good. I think you only see flashes in the first game, but then you're also going to see maybe some tap dancing in the pocket, a little bit of fear. Don't think you'll see him running as much. I think people forget last season, he ran out the pocket a lot. I don't think we're going to see that. I think he's going to be trying to use your pocket, protect yourself, try and stay there and make that the Tom Brady one-step movements to free yourself.
And he's coming up against the Colts. Do you think there'll be anything they need to be worried about?
Yeah, because that would nicely bring me on to my story of the week. Which is that where we're going now?
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah, alright, well, the reason why I'm an idiot this week is because I've always said that the Indianapolis Colts are soft and that you can just run all over them and they've got a soft underbelly. That is now untrue. They have actually, with the Eastern Bloc, Marcus Hunt, and with Leonard, who they drafted in the second round, who had 15 tackles and 4 assisted tackles, are all over the place. They dominated the Redskins' offensive line in the victory, and I think we're starting to see, you know, finally the Colts have some defense. Finally, you can't just run straight up the middle on the Colts. Finally, they're actually getting pressure on quarterbacks. Well, not an idiot because I was right, but now I'm an idiot because now I'm an idiot because I'm wrong and I still thought I was right.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go back onto one more storyline, then we'll get into why I'm an idiot, which is a far-ranging topic to be fair. Antonio Brown, looks like there's some problems at the Steelers right now. You know, he's tweeting the other night saying, trade me then to an ex-employee. You're saying that you only had the yardage and the career that you've had because of Ben Roethlisberger.
Which, this way you're an ex-employee if you believe that.
But probably touched the nerve. Yeah. Otherwise he wouldn't have done it, which says he's out to prove people wrong on this front. The fact that I don't think he's caught a touchdown with anyone other than Big Ben in. The fact that
Landry Jones, let's be honest.
Still, Ben has missed a lot of football, and his production has gone like that. You know what I mean? And there are guys last season on teams like the Packers whose production stayed the same when Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. You know, Devontae Adams had done brilliantly, and look at their quarterback, for example. So, if you're an elite wide receiver, you want. I think, and look, I'm not saying Antonio Brown's not here, by the way. He's clearly the best wide receiver in the league, or one of the top 2. But it's touched the nerve. There's no smoke without fire, Jenno. And there just seems to be a lot of shit going on at the Steelers. I know it's a completely unrelated subject to Lev Bell, but this has got to worry a Steelers fan.
See, the thing with the Antonio Brown is he pouts a lot. He is the typical diva wide receiver. There's been people talking about before he got paid, he was complaining and wanting to be traded apparently. There was issues last season with him filming the dressing room, remember that? And going live, I think Tom was trying to, Ben was trying to do a speech. There's more issues around routes, and he's not happy with what routes
running his own, apparently.
So he was just running his own and freelancing because he wants more yards, more touchdowns, and he wants the ball more. I think that the stuff about him not catching touchdown from Ben, I'm sorry, but Landry Jones is awful, and Michael Vick was awful at that point as well, and they're the two options. I think that's just more the Steelers having terrible backups than him. I'm telling you right now, if he goes to any other QB in the league, you're still going to get an elite wide receiver who's still going to be the best in the league. And the way he can get separated, no one else can cover it, and he can also jump and catch, and he's fast. That doesn't concern me, but I think this is a broader issue with the Steelers, as in, it's this thing that, like, you know, Tomlin randomly takes swipes at the Patriots,
yeah,
and it's like, why? What's the Patriots got to do with anything right now? And there seems to be this lack of discipline that's funneled through the Mike Tomlin era Steelers, where they just do what they want. And we talked about before with Josh Gordon drawing lines in the sand. There doesn't seem to be any lines drawn in the sand with the Steelers, and it just seems to be one more issue on social media to another issue on social media, and then you hear Tomlin going, oh, we'll deal with it all in-house. Well, you're not dealing with it because it keeps coming up, these other issues, and they're all only minor. But when they add up, that starts becoming a major issue.
That's it, and I think, you know, when you hear Tomlin talk to the press and you hear him talk to the media, you think, this is a guy that's no nonsense, that doesn't take any shit. I'm sorry, it's like, you can be a no nonsense guy, but if you don't know what's going on behind you, it doesn't fucking matter. And it looks like everything's just going on in that Steelers facility, and Tomlin hasn't got a fucking clue what's going on. And I like Mike Tomlin. I loved it when he came into the league. Was it like 12 years ago or something? I was like 2006 he came into the league, and he had a freshness about him that, you know, and the way that he married his cover 2 defense with Dick LeBeau's defense, and he sort of, I loved the way that defense started to grow and take shape. But it's stagnated. Certainly they're an offensive team now. That defense isn't the defense of 5 years ago. It isn't the defense that Dick LeBeau built. You know, it's struggled since then. They've got all these problems going on that Tomlin seems to be unaware of until he hits social media. They don't have their arms around the pieces that they need to have their arms around. Antonio Brown, as you say, running routes that he's not doing, and yet for some reason in all of this, I can't help but feel that it's both sides' fault. It's not only Tomlin's, it is Antonio Brown, because he's a number one receiver. It's very difficult to keep getting the level of production out of a number one receiver like the Steelers have for so many years when you're being doubled.
Yeah.
But yet they're probably the only team that have been able to do this.
He's the only wide receiver you see is doubled every play and still is open every play. Like, that's there's other people who win contested catches when they're doubled.
He's open.
He's open. No one can stop. No, the way he stops on that, no one can control him. I still remember when Taylor first said that Antonio Brown's going to be the best wide receiver in the league, when he was in the call with Wallace and someone else who didn't do it, and you were thinking, nah, no way. But then we saw it, and we saw more how good Antonio Brown is. There's also talk that he doesn't like Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah.
And they've had the rumblings.
There's really talk about the fact that he hates Ben Roethlisberger, and Ben Roethlisberger doesn't like him, because Antonio Brown, from everything you actually hear, is the most hardest working receiver, and he wants to be great, he wants to be as good as Jerry Rice, and that's what his determination is. And then with Ben Roethlisberger, we don't know if that's true. There's always, we have all heard, they want to retire, and there's a lot of bitching.
A year ago he was talking about retirement, and that must piss Antonio Brown off if he's first into the facility and last out of the facility.
Yeah, so there's a lot of disconnect in the Steelers. They all seem to be solvable problems. I don't like putting in the Le'Veon Bell stuff in with that, because the Le'Veon Bell thing is basically Steelers won't pay him. He refused to let the Steelers run him into his ground so he can't get paid by someone else. That's where they're at. I get both sides of that. As much as people are like, oh, Le'Veon Bell's quitting on his team, he sees his team quitting on him. He knows his team's quit on him next year, so why should he kill himself, lose chance to make much more money somewhere else? Yeah. So I don't like putting those two, because I think that's separate issues. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, I think we had a good little chat about that. Let's move it on then. We'll go to why I'm an idiot. Because I thought that the Eagles would beat the Bucs with Nick Foles at QB, and I thought that Nick Foles would be able to get back to the level. So there's two reasons here. A, I actually had a bit of belief in Nick Foles, which I carried over from last season. And to be fair, before the playoffs, I was in the camp of he might do something. Didn't think he'd win the Super Bowl, but I didn't think he'd be shit. I carried that belief over. I'm an idiot for doing that, and I'm an idiot because Ryan Fitzpatrick has had 8 touchdowns this year and over 800 yards and a passer rating over the first 2 games of 155, and I didn't back him.
Fitzpatrick magic. I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
Magic. I remember in our first preview show, I said, you know, whoever they played first games, like, no one fancy any Fitzmagic, and then we all laughed. And then he bounces out looking like Conor McGregor, and he's been laughing at us ever since.
Yeah, he did as well. He looked absolutely superb. Okay, well, moving on, then we'll go on to the pick'em before we get on to Steve's best bets, mate. First up, Thursday night ball, Browns Jets.
Have you forgot about our handshake?
Oh,
No,
it needs to be done.
Oh no, I said I lost.
Oh, you lost?
Yeah.
Oh, magic. Go on then, you did. I nearly did it then for free for you.
I know, but I actually lost, so I'll do it.
What is this?
Right, if anyone knows what that's off, it's a 2002-2003 reference.
Lean back?
Yeah. Lean back, Fat Joe. I wanted to do this job with the cap on, because for some reason every rapper in the early 2000s they go like this with the cap, and then they do this.
Lean back. Lean back. Yeah, love that song. Love the dance. I've never seen it done from behind.
Yeah, that must be really weird from behind.
It was a strange dance. What's he doing here? Oh, he's really bad. Sounds. So we'll start with the Jets and the Browns. Is this going to be the greatest start for Cleveland in however many years?
Even if they tie, in fact, even if they lose, this is still probably the greatest starting for the Cleveland since they've existed. However, I'm going for the win. I'm going for the Cleveland Browns to break the duck and beat the Jets. I'm going for that defense to finally win.
Mate, that defense is decent. That defense is absolutely, it's good, mate. And I don't know what Darnold we're going to get today. But I'm going to get Steve's. I'm just looking for Steve's picks as well.
The thing with Darnold is
he's picked the Browns too, and I've picked the Browns as well, by the way.
We've all went in on the Browns.
Has this ever happened before where three people have all picked the Browns to win?
I don't think so. We all could be having, why am I an idiot? Because Sam Darnold.
No, because we picked the Browns to win, and they don't do that. They've not done that for 2 years, and we all three picked the Browns to win. Okay, Bills, Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings. The Bills are trash.
I've also won Vikings. This is again my lock of the week, Joe, on the Survivor. It's gone well so far.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? And Steve's gone Vikings as well. Let's lock that one down. Colts, Eagles.
I've gone Eagles. I've went Wentz coming back to the win.
Yeah, Eagles as well. Obviously, it's got to be the Eagles.
Yeah.
Packers, Redskins.
Packers
and oh no, he's gone Packers. He's gone Packers. Of course, he's gone Packers. They. I know we talked a little bit about them before. We talked about the Vikings as well. They looked so much better on defense.
I was going to say we didn't get to that, but their defense looked excellent. Their defense started to actually look like it was. I felt this last season though when they had Aaron Rodgers, their defense looked really good, and then when Aaron Rodgers went down, the defense got massively worse. I think it's a bit about that time on the field. Aaron Rodgers gives you a lot less time on the field for defense, so you can attack more. You don't get as gassed as quick. Whereas Brett Hundley was just 3 and out and sacked fumble.
They were tired towards the end of the game. You know, we started to move the ball really well. I mean, we scored so many. Was it 13 or 20 points in the fourth quarter? I don't think we scored in the second and third quarters against them. You know, we put up points on them in the fourth and just ground them down. But I know Steve will be displeased with the results with the Vikings, but I think you've got to be pleased as a Packers fan that defense is starting to take shape. Like. Okay, Chiefs 49ers. I've gone Chiefs. Steve's gone Chiefs.
I've gone Chiefs. I'm just not picking against the Chiefs. I fell into that trap now. I was wrong twice. I thought that the Steelers would beat them in the shootout. I was wrong. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is just incredible.
The god.
Yeah.
I've got him in 2 fantasy leagues.
Have you?
Out 2 of my 3 fantasy leagues, and now he's looking like a good one. Annoyingly, I lost 1 game this weekend. Should have won it, but I picked Drew Brees going against the Browns over Mahomes going against the Steelers. And there was about a 25-point difference between Brees and Mahomes, and I lost by 1.5 points or something like that. I won't be making that mistake again. I will be picking Patrick Mahomes in both leagues every week until he stops scoring ridiculous points, until he stops making 4 touchdowns a game. And I'm not sure that's going to happen.
I'm so impressed, but I don't remember last time I was this impressed by a quarterback. I don't know.
Was it Alex Smith when they went like 5 an hour?
No, because I was watching Alex Smith and you still seeing throws he was leaving on the field, and it was a lot of his legs that were doing it, but He's throwing it to wide receivers. Alex Smith never threw to wide receivers.
No, yeah, good point. What about Jimmy G? He hasn't looked great at the start of this season, has he?
No, but you're still seeing some incredible plays. You're still seeing enough that if you're a 49ers fan, you're like, I'm fine. You're still going to be in, I think, the playoff hunt with Jimmy G. So I think you're fine.
Dolphins, Raiders. Raiders 0-2 now. Not a great start to a 10-year...
Complaining about the pass rush again.
It is what it is, though. They probably deserve to win that game against the Broncos, to be fair. They looked alright. Against the Broncos, but I've gone for the Dolphins against the Raiders this time.
I've gone Dolphins.
Steve's gone Dolphins. Is that how all of us have picked the same teams all the way down so far?
Yeah.
My word, okay. That's what happens when you put your picks into the WhatsApp group first, Steve. Titans, Jags.
I've went Jags, but like before the season, I pick every game at the first week of the season just so it never happens where I
miss one.
I miss a week. And it did have the Titans win this game because they usually play very well against the Jags. But the way the Jags beat the Patriots, I can't not pick them to win this game.
No, I think Ste has gone Jaguars, I've gone Jaguars. As I say, I was so impressed with them. I've gone Broncos over the Ravens.
Who's at home?
Ravens.
I've gone Ravens though.
And Ste has gone Ravens, so that's the first one we've all differed on. I was an idiot last week for not backing Case Keenum. He did it again last week against the Raiders. Yeah. I says he does it a third time, and at some point people are going to start talking about him. Oh goodness, I said this last week.
Nobody keeps throwing.
That defense, though, the Broncos defense is getting to a level where it used to be at.
Yeah, the Broncos defense is getting back to this level. What is still in the offense? It's better. It's way better than last season. That scat back is crazy good. The other running backs decent as well. They've actually got a running game. The offensive line's getting better, and that defense. There's enough there for the Broncos team to be excited. I could have basically said why I'm an idiot is because I thought the AFC West was going to be terrible, and now you're looking at the Broncos look good, the Chiefs look amazing, and then we've got the Chargers just
charging it up,
kissing me every time I think that I picked them.
Okay, big game. Saints at the Falcons. Jenno, I've gone Falcons on this one. Ste has gone Falcons on this one.
I've gone Saints.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Saints to click back into last season's form. I still believe that they can. Even though they're not showing it right now. I mean, the Falcons in the Sarkisian era actually went off in the red zone last week, so that was something that, you know, we've all been worried what's going on there. But I'm still going Saints.
Okay. I'm a little concerned about the Saints today because they do not look the same as last year. Now, the offense will click and that's fine, but what made them a good side last season was having both sides of the ball, and I'm just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, but I still remember last season when they were 0-2 when they played the Patriots and we absolutely diced them up, and we were talking about how poor their D is.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the changes was made, but it ended up being one of the best defenses in the league. So I think they have a playmaker defense where they can get a lot of picks, and that's what I think that's going to take over.
Okay, I'm going to change this one. I've got Bengals at the Panthers. Is Cam Newton fine?
Yeah,
he's fine, isn't he? I'm going to change that to the Panthers. I have to remember to do that because I think Joe Mixon's out, isn't he?
Yeah, Joe Mixon's out. Giovanni Bernard's fine. I've gone Panthers. When it's a tough game like this, I always like just go with the home team. That tends to be my favourite.
Ste has gone with the Bengals in this one. We'll ask him why when we next speak to him. But I'm going to change mine. I've got it down on here as the Bengals, but I'm going to change it if Mixon's out. Giants at Texans, 2-0-2 teams. I've gone Texans on here, but now I'm kind of feeling like I should go Giants because, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stick with the Texans show.
I'm saying it's the Texans. I'm also saying JJ Watt hasn't had a sack for like nearly 2 years. He's going to run all over the place. He's going to have about 4 sacks in this game. Okay,
and Steve's gone Texans. I need to just keep both of these in mind. The Rams for me are going to absolutely slaughter the Chargers, you know.
Yeah, the Rams are much better.
That it?
Yeah.
Shut out last week as well for them.
Well, I think that's how bad the Cardinals are, not bad Sam Bradford is. But I think the Rams and Chargers, the Rams are just much better in all 3 phases of the game, whereas
they were better with that. They were brilliant without a kicker as well last week.
I've said the Chargers will sneak into like the playoffs and maybe even the Super Bowl, but I think that's because of the AFC. You can break that, whereas the Rams are just a dominant team.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that. I'm going to go Cowboys over the Seahawks. Steve has actually picked the Seahawks. What are you going for? Seahawks.
I'll Seahawks them.
Okay. Bears over the Cardinals for me, and Bears for Steve.
Bears. I get Bears another one where this could have been why I made it, because I didn't rate the Bears coming into the season. Now they've got Khalil Mack, their defense looks legit.
It does, doesn't it?
Their offense looks good, but it seems to. The thing that I've always worried about the Bears is I still think Mitch Trubisky's Jake Locker, and he hasn't shown me that he's not.
I'd say I've always had that little belief in him. I think, you know, they've got a good couple of running backs there. Yeah. You know, Howard and what's the other guy's name? I forget. Tariq Cohen. Yeah, I think, you know, I like that as a running back tandem. Howard's incredible. And if they can keep those two running backs fit, I think Mitch Trubisky will be manageable. If one of them goes down, you're then having to ask Trubisky to do a little bit more, and that's when they could get into a bit of trouble.
I mean, Trey Burton's a very good tight end, and then Allen Robinson's a great wide receiver. Yeah. So the players, they've got the pieces. They've got a very good, they've got a decent offensive line as well. So it's Mitch Trubisky, they're waiting to become playoff Super Bowl contender. They need him to elevate.
Yeah, no, and I think that's totally fair. Patriots over the Lions for me, Patriots over the Lions for him.
I think this is going to be a shellacking.
Yeah, I do agree with that one. And then I'm going to pick the Buccaneers over the Steelers. And have the Steelers ever started 0-2-1, by the way, if they do lose?
Yeah, I think I'll pick the Buccaneers as well, because...
Ryan.
Fitzmagic, mate. Fitzmagic. I believe.
Absolutely incredible. Let's get on to Steve's best bets then. He's picked 4 teams to win. He's -3 on the Packers, -7 on the Chiefs, -3.5 on the Dolphins, and he thinks the Broncos will lose. Says +5.5. Any of them do you think he will get wrong?
You know what? I still wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders don't get the first win of the season against the Dolphins. I'm still not all in on the Dolphins. I know they've won 2-0, but I'm still...
No, I get that. Yeah. I can understand that. If there's one there, I'm going to back the Broncos. I'm going to say that the Broncos are the ones. I have picked the Broncos to win.
Again, Broncos versus the Seahawks offensive line.
They're playing the Ravens. Broncos.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
But you picked the Ravens to win. Steve picked the Ravens to win. I was the only one that picked the Dolphins. I fancy some magic Broncos. From my old man. Yes.
That's alright, we're
getting late. Steve's best bet, anytime touchdowns. Adams, Hill, Lindsay and Cook. Now, I find this one an intriguing pick because, listen, Devontae Adams has got a touchdown in both games. Tyreek Hill's probably had 2 in one game and 1 in another. Cook definitely hasn't had a touchdown this season, and I don't think Lindsay, for all the yards that he's got, has got a touchdown. So to pick 2 running backs that haven't got a touchdown in your anytime touchdown.
Cook bench went for?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Brandon. Sorry.
No, that Cook's in it. It could have been Jared for the Raiders. Yeah. He's looked brilliant this season, by the way. But yeah, Dalvin Cook hasn't got a touchdown for us yet.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I mean, Melvin Gordon run all over the place. I can't see how he doesn't do the same against the Bills.
What's Melvin Gordon got to do with anything?
He played the Bills last week, and now Dalvin Cook's
the Bills. Sorry mate, yeah, now I'm bloody hell. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, no, that's a fair point. And I didn't even check. Lindsay is obviously coming up against that Ravens day.
Yeah,
is there anyone there that's not going to let you down, that's going to let him down?
Lindsay, because I'm not sure that the Ravens D without CJ Mosley's weak, but I think it's passing D is even worse. I think the passing D is where you can really expose them without Jimmy Smith.
Okay, so there you go. Let us know your thoughts. To Steve's best bets in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts on the show in the comment section below. Thank you very much for joining us here on Cover2TV. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.